Okay, like I tell everybody every time, same shirt, same jacket, same gun. That's to keep this crowd under control. You heard what was happening in the last one.
We listen.
No. He said, this is what Paul said. Brothers and sisters, listen now to my defense. When they heard him speaking in Aramaic, they became very quiet. Then Paul said, I am a Jew born in Tarsus of Cilicia. Was brought up in this city. I studied under Gamaliel and was thoroughly trained in the law of our ancestors. I was just as zealous for God as any of you are today. I persecuted the followers in the way, and that's what they was first called before Christians. It was the way. Still is the way. There's a church down at just east of here. That's the name of the church, the way. It's just off the interstate, off of Finger Isle, exit 26 or 24, something like that. Okay. Arresting both men and women and throwing them into prison, as the high priest and all the council can themselves testify that I even obtained a letter from them to their associates in Damascus and went there to bring these people as prisoners to Jerusalem to be punished. About noon, as I came near Damascus, suddenly a bright light from heaven flashed around me. I fell to the ground and heard a voice say to me, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? Who are you, Lord? I asked. I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting, he replied. My companions saw the light, but they did not understand the voice of him who was speaking to me. What shall I do, Lord? I asked. Get up, the Lord said. Go to Damascus. Go into Damascus, where you will be told all that you have been assigned to do. My companions led me by the hand into Damascus, because a brilliant light of the brilliance of the light had blinded me. And I've got down here, would be the same as well burn. If you ever had well burn, you know what we're talking about. Okay, let's see, where am I at here? Well, I think this is right. What did I leave off with?
12.
12? Okay. Oh, I got to turn it over then. Yeah. I've got too many pages here. The man named Ananias came to see me. He was a devout observer of the law and high respected by all the Jews in the living there. Now, that's strange that he says it that way, because he was also a Christian. He stood beside me and said, Brother Saul, receive your sight. At that very moment, I was able to see him. Then he said, the God of your ancestors has chosen you to know his will and to see the righteous one and to hear the words from his mouth. Now that's interesting that it states it just exactly like that. So he's going to talk directly to Jesus. God has chosen him. So you will be the witness to all people of what you have seen and heard. And now that you are waiting, now what are you waiting for? Get up, be baptized and wash your sins away, calling on his name. So, even Paul got baptized. When I returned to Jerusalem and was praying at the temple, I fell into a trance and saw the Lord speaking to me. Quick, he said, leave Jerusalem immediately, because the people here will not accept your testimony about me. Lord, I replied, these people know that I went from one synagogue to the other to imprison and beat those who believed in you. And when the blood of your martyr Stephen was shed, I stood there giving my approval and guarding the clothes of those who were killing him. Then the Lord said to me, go, I will send you far away to the Gentiles. And at this point I put in Galatians chapter 1, and this explains what he did. I did not go to Jerusalem to see those who were apostles before I was, but I went to Arabia. Later I returned to Damascus. That's when he's sending to the Gentiles, so he's sending to Arabia. And there, then after 3 years, just like the apostles followed Christ for 3 years, he was there 3 years. And then when I went up to Jerusalem to get acquainted with Cephas, that's Peter, and stayed with him 15 days, I saw none of the other apostles, only James, the Lord's brother. I assure you before God that what I am writing you is no lie. So that explains here where Paul went when he said he's sending to the Gentiles. He went into there for training for 3 years, and that's when he came back, and we learn all of Paul's writings in Romans and all the way through. So okay. The crowd listened to Paul until he said this. Then they raised their voice and shouted, rid the earth of him. He's not fit to live. And that's because of what Christ told him in the last statement. Go, and I will send you far away to the Gentiles. Because all of them hated the Gentiles. As they were shouting and throwing off their cloaks and clinging dust into the air, the commander ordered that Paul be taken into the barracks. He directed that he be flogged and interrogated in order to find out why the people were shouting at him like this. As they stretched him out to be flogged, Paul said to the centurion standing there, is it legal for you to flog a Roman citizen who has never been found guilty? Then the centurion heard this. He went to the commander and reported it. What are you going to do? He asked. This man is a Roman citizen. The commander went to Paul and asked, tell me, are you a Roman citizen? Yes, I am, he answered. Then the commander said, I pay a lot of money for my citizenship. And Paul said, but I was born a citizen, Paul replied. So, got to get up here on this one. Those who are about to interrogate him withdrew immediately. The commander himself was alarmed when he realized that he had put Paul, a Roman citizen, in chains. The commander wanted to find out exactly why Paul was being accused by the Jews. So the next day he released him and ordered the chief priests and all the members of Sanhedrin to assemble. Then he brought Paul and had him stand before them. And we'll go on to chapter 23.